Okay, welcome to our team call. It is July 17th, thank you, July 17th, 2018, and tonight we're talking about mindset. I originally put limiting belief, okay, thank you, Rachel, so much. But as I was kind of just getting in the vibe for the call, it just kind of came more to me to do mindset overall. And so I wanted to start with, well, do we have any announcements? Lift 4, sorry, I like, when I transitioned from outside to inside, now I'm just like losing my train of thought. But we started Lift 4, not me, but other people have, and I've been watching you guys. And I'm so excited for it. Like, that is the first program I'm doing. The second I feel like I can after baby. I don't even wait to get cleared because this is my third kid. I'm just like, I feel good, let's do this. So the second I feel good, I'm doing Lift 4. So if people want to do it again, we can do it again. But it looks amazing. I've been listening to his calls and trying to help people who that would benefit for them. And I feel like so many people are like, oh, 4 days? Like, they're just so intrigued just by the 4-day thing. So keep inspiring me and sharing your journey, because I'm going to be leaning on you guys. This is the Beat the Best month. So I hope you guys are all fighting hard to be your best. I didn't want to tell anyone this, but if you're new to coaching, as in you haven't coached during the summer, June and July are like the hardest months. But I didn't want to say that early in the month to set anybody up for a limiting belief, a belief that like, oh, this is just a hard month. Like, I don't have to do it. But I want you to know that, it's hard for me too. Everybody, it's just a hard month. That's why we have Summit in the summer. That's why they set up these extra prizes. The company definitely adds extra motivation to help, because people are traveling, and I don't know if you're getting these messages, but I'm getting the messages that it's like, well, I'm going out of town next week and this week, so message me in August, or when things die down in September. So I'm not giving you an out, but I want to be honest with you that July is a really, really hard month. And also December. Those are the two big ones. So you're already halfway through it. You're working hard, and you're going to make Success Club. There's no doubt in my mind. So that is it. Beat the Best. And with the Beat the Best, this is the first month of the new Success Club prizes. And so if you make Success Club this month, you'll get your hat, which is super exciting because everybody loves prizes. And I really want one of those hats, because I'm not really a hat person. I have a very small head. And when I wear a hat, it just isn't attractive, but I want to try again. And I think a Team Beachbody hat would really be attractive, just because it says Team Beachbody. So I know I'm fighting for that. And Brenna just went in the chat and said that it's also very strategic what they did, is because next month is Team Cup. I'm pretty sure. They haven't said anything about it, but I'm pretty sure every August is Team Cup. And so the company is not stupid. What they're doing is they're trying to set you up for success, because how you are hustling so hard right now to beat your best is going to roll over and help you when you do Team Cup. Those invites and those follow-ups are just going to help you. So that's kind of what we have going on. Next week, we have our team call on volume. And then the week after, I have like a really in-depth training on inviting, tips and tricks and scripts. I've been trying to get this together, and I'm going to lean on you guys to give me variations, because we all do different things, but I would like to provide to the team like a Word doc or something with different kinds of scripts that are working for all of you. So I'll eventually ask that so I can put that together. But tonight we're talking about mindset, a little bit of limiting belief, a little bit of mindset, a little bit of mantras, a little bit of lots of stuff. But basically, this call is just to get your head positive and in the game, so that you can feel kind of validated. When you walk away from this call, I want you to feel a couple things. I want you to feel validated if you've had any negative thoughts, and I want you to feel empowered that you can change them, that this business is exactly what you want it to be. Nobody is a victim to, well, I'm on a bad leg, or, well, I don't, you know, my following isn't there, or, well, I don't know people who are ready to invest in money. All those excuses are feeding your limiting belief. They're feeding your negative mindset. And what I want you to do at the end of this call is to be empowered so that you can change your mindset to whatever you want it to be. So as coaches, we talk a lot about action, and especially the last couple months, we've been talking about like kind of like the technical parts and how to send, you know, how to post well and how to do a good invite and how to do all this stuff. And you know, that's like next week we're doing a volume call and things like that, which are all super, super important. But you could be the kind of person, and I've seen coaches come into the business who literally read the FAQ word for word, because they're craving knowledge, and they feel that if they know everything, that people are just going to flood to them. But really, nobody knows on the other side of your Instagram story if you know why the Portion Fix containers come with Lift 4 or don't come with Lift 4, and they come with like the regular challenge pack. Nobody knows that. Nobody knows anything like that. And so knowledge is power and is super, super important, but it's not going to get you to where you want in this business, because I've seen those coaches who have read the FAQ, I'm not kidding, read the FAQ word for word, have referred other coaches to the FAQ when asked a question, and then things got hard and they quit because they weren't in a growth mindset. They were in a fixed mindset, and they had a limiting belief mindset. So what we have to do is know that in this business, there's not a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 equals, oh, you're now a elite coach. It is a very much personalized branding, inner motivational, all the sappy stuff, all those words, think of them, curvy roadmap that you have to navigate and get through to be where you want to be. And it's very individual for everyone. Some people hear about volume and hear how to send an invite and are like, got it, I can do that. I still am like, I either go to Brenna or Brigida, and I'm like, okay, wait a minute. So for volume, I do this, and like that's why that number is there. Like, I just doesn't make sense to me. Invites took a long time to make sense for me. I have them now, but it's because I had a growth mindset. I didn't have a negative mindset. I was okay with failing forward. So, what happens, and this is where I'm going to like back up a little bit into your limiting belief, is that when you like start in this world, or you start in, I don't know, life, I don't know how to like set that sentence up, but when you get going we're set up to kind of, a lot of things are not in our control, right? The patterns, the evidence of how the world works isn't really in our control. You know, if you grew up in a house where things were not as perfect, you might have the assumption that life is hard. You might have the assumption that no matter what you do, you're going to have debt. You might have you kind of come into adulthood or whatever, or into maturity, I should say, with just these ideas that like life just works a certain way. And that's not really our fault, but we can change it. But when things happen to people, they just believe that that's the way it is. And that starts when we're young. You know, I don't know, I just thought of this example, but like if you always kind of get in these really crappy relationships, you kind of have this mindset of like, well, I just like am never going to marry anybody, or I'm never going to be with anybody. I'm never going to find the one. But that's not true. It just has been that you haven't found the one yet. You have the limiting belief that you're not going to get married and you're just going to find the crappy guys. Well, hey, the crappy guys are going to come out of the woodwork and you're going to find them. But then isn't it so funny when people are like, oh, I'm not looking right now, and they stop focusing on the negative, like Prince Charming like walks through the door or something like that. That's examples with jobs. It's an example in this business. If you feel like all you see are the no's, everybody sees no's. Everybody sees no's. But if you focus on that, then of course you're going to be like, oh, well, this business just isn't for me. So what we have to do is we have to change that. And my favorite example, and if you've ever been on a mindset call with me, because it's kind of one of my favorite topics, and I do them a lot, is the elephant mindset. And if you've ever heard this story, just saddle up for it again. But if you haven't, what it is, back, I think it was in a book, this story of this man. He was in Africa and he was touring, and there are all these giant elephants. Like, you're just so close to them. And when circuses were kind of really big, in the early 1900s, what was happening was they were training these elephants, and you could get so close to them, and people were like, how are you so close to this elephant? Like, it's a multi-ton animal. And what happened was this person touring Africa, the elephant started to go a little get antsy. They started to get all revved up, and the trainer ran over and he tied a regular size rope, that you and I could lift, not like an elephant size rope, a regular rope on the back of all the elephants' 2 feet, so that when it would, go to walk, it would feel the tug on its feet, and so it would stop. It didn't think it could run. And the man said, why are these elephants, why do they care that this rope is on their back feet? Like, obviously, if they tried hard enough, they could just snap the rope. And the trainer explained that when the baby elephants are little, they tie the rope on the back of their feet and they train them. So they walk them in circles and circles and circles, and so that they never ever run. And they don't think that they can, because at the time, the rope stops them. So when they're older, when they get all revved up, whether that was excitement or they were anxious because of the people in a good or bad way, it doesn't matter. What happened is that when the rope gets there, it stops their momentum. So how we can take that and think of that for us is that, what are our ropes? What happens, what have you seen in your life or in your business that you are just admitting or deciding is fact now? It's just what it is. When things happen to people, they just think that that's the way it is. When things happen to you in your business, you just think that's the way it is, and then you put your ropes on. So if you joined this business and you said, let's use me as an example. When I joined this business, first of all, I thought I was going to do minimal work to get maximum results. And that's not how it works. But I set a goal that in 1 year, I was going to be able to replace my teaching income and be home with my child. And that did not happen. If I took that and said, oh, well, I didn't reach my goal, that's just me. I'm never going to get there because I didn't make Success Club, or I didn't do this, or I didn't do that. I'm putting the ropes on my feet. I'm stopping myself before I get going. If I sign up a coach and they say, oh, my first month, I'm going to make Success Club 10, and they don't, then every consecutive month that they're starting to struggle, it's like the 10th of the month, and they're like, everyone has said no to me. And it's like, well, girlfriend, it's the 10th of the month. You still have 20 days left. You're putting the ropes on your feet. You're deciding, because certainty is much more calming than uncertainty, that if I certainly say, well, I'm not going to make Success Club, it eases my anxiety more than if I were to say, I don't know, I'm going to keep pushing and I think I'm going to do it. That's harder because you're pushing yourself into the uncertainty zone. So what ropes are you putting on your feet in your business when you're getting going? And I was listening to, oh gosh, what is his name? Eric something. He's like this really powerful, he's like on YouTube. He's like this really powerful speaker who I just like get so jazzed when he talks. But he was talking about your eyesight versus your mindset. So our eyesight shows us what we, yes, him. Eric Worse, I think. He's so good. John showed me him like years ago, and we were like driving in Maryland and listening to all of these things and getting all pumped up, and he was just so good. But he was talking about your eyesight versus your mindset. So if you look at what you see in front of you and you decide that that's fact, well, in this business, in regards to inviting and in regards to growth, you're going to see a lot of negative. You're going to see a lot of negative. You know, when I was talking to somebody recently who asked me like, oh, I sent out this many invites. And I was like, let me just break it down to you. If I send 20 Hey Girl messages, probably, you know, conservatively, 13 of them answer back. 8 of them maybe get to an invite. 3 of those people will automatically ghost me. Within that last 5, when I send the follow-up that's like, hey, I don't know if you got my last message, they'll be like, oh, tell me more about it. But then they never buy, probably 2 of them. 3 of them will ask for more information, and all 3 of those will take 4 months of a follow-up. So if you look for all the negative, if you look in my eyesight, if I looked in my inbox right now, my eyesight says, or it could easily say, oh, nobody wants to join your challenge group. Nobody wants to join your team. Everyone's saying no, or people aren't answering you. That's your eyesight. But if in your mindset, you wake up and you sit at your computer and you say, this business has changed my life. These programs have changed my life. I have never felt the way I feel than when I am in a group and I'm kicking ass and I'm starting lift 4 and I'm dropping 2 pounds in a day because I'm sticking to my meal plan. If I'm doing these things, then my mindset says, girl, you can say no to me all you want because I'm going to the next 20 and I'm going to the next 20 because I'm here to change lives. I'm here to change my life. I'm here to change your life. I'm here to change everyone's lives. But that's the difference between your eyesight and your mindset. There's a lot of like similar sounding words. So what you talk about multiplies. So as you're in this, maybe you are naturally, I'm just muting some people, sorry. Just because I'm like I literally have ADD actually diagnosed. And specifically, I'm like a cat, like I see a shiny object and I'm like, what? So what you talk about multiplies. So if you talk about the negatives, and I'm not saying you can't message your success partner or your upline coach and talk about like, hey, I'm just feeling like I'm getting a lot of no's. Maybe I can fine tune my inviting, or can you look at them for me? Can I screenshot some messages and you tell me how that's going? I want to get better at it, versus, oh my God, I'm getting all these no's. I'm not going to make Success Club, but it's the 10th of the month and I still have 20 days. Those are 2 different things. That's eyesight versus mindset. Mindset and growth mindset specifically is what you have to be successful in this business. And forget the business, what you have to be successful in this life. I guarantee you, because I'm looking at a whole bunch of women, which I'm super excited. Most of you have full-time jobs. If not, you have your momming, which is a full-time job, just in a different way. You have growth mindset in your personal job. In the job that you clock in from 8 to 5, or as a mom, 24 hours a day, when your child is freaking out, or at work when something is not working, you have a growth mindset. You have to figure it out because you're relying on that paycheck. If in this business, you took that mindset and said, I'm getting a lot of no's. So you know what I'm going to focus my personal development on? Inviting. I'm going to go to YouTube. Who are the top 10 coaches, which they provide every single month? If not that you even need to know who the absolute top 10 coaches are, but you could go and be like, well, shoot, Ashley Malsat is freaking killing it. She has like 400 and something Success Club points. I'm going to go to her YouTube channel and see if she has any trainings, and I'm going to listen, and I'm going to try to implement what I learned. That's a growth mindset. The difference is one person will be successful and the other person won't be. And that's just because what you speak into existence multiplies. And I'm really not a big, like, well, I am, but I'm not. Because this, you know, if you've listened to The Secret, it's like what you speak into existence comes true, you know. And I do believe that as much as working hard. But the difference of, you know, because if you've listened to the 10X rule, the 10X, he's like, you can believe all you want, but until you do stuff, it's not going to happen. And I agree with what he's saying, but it's both. So you have to come into this business with the mindset that you want to grow and that you're okay to fail and that you're going to keep pushing, but you're also going to take action. So Just wanted to check my notes. Okay, so now I want to share some tips and some tricks for you to get, to set your mindset right, because it's okay if you're naturally kind of like a pessimist. It's okay if you're naturally like kind of a skeptic. I don't want you to feel bad if that's kind of like your natural way of doing things. Kami's screaming. But you can change what you're thinking in your mind by what you do. So there are things like visualization, mantras, gratitude journals, and that comboed with personal development, which is a vital behavior. What it does is it arms you for the day. It arms you before you go into your invites, before you go into posting on social media and being super vulnerable. And that doesn't mean you have to be sharing your deepest, darkest secret for it to be vulnerable. Just sharing your sweaty selfie can be incredibly vulnerable sometimes. Just putting yourself out there, especially in the beginning as a new coach, you can feel like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I'm about to post this. So what has worked for me when I am not living in a hotel room, when I feel the most successful in my business, and then I get the best results, is when I wake up. This was a trick from, I think it was The Compound Effect, Darren Hardy. He said that when he hits the snooze button, it depends if you can hit the snooze button, because some people fall right back asleep and some people don't. When you hit the snooze button for that 7 minutes, it's like his eyes are closed, but he's starting to process the day. And what he does is he tries as hard as he can to think about everything that he's grateful for in those 7 minutes. And so he starts the day with that. And it's really weird at first. And I was somebody who was like, well, I want to write my gratitude journal down, and I want it to be like really, really cute. And I have like 7 started because I just could never find a time. But I am super successful if I do focus on the gratitude, even in everyday life stress. So like through this move, I have found myself kind of paralyzed with stress a couple times, last week specifically. And the times that I was like, okay, this is the moment where I'm like freaking out over lots of things that are not in my control, and I'm doing nothing. You know, it's like I'm sitting in a hotel room and I'm stressing that I can't find a house. I could easily send some hey girl messages, but I'm doing nothing because I'm feeling stressed. And so what I would do is, if I could recognize, because sometimes you can't recognize that you're paralyzed in stress. If I could recognize that I was in stress, I would be like, okay, what are 3 things I'm grateful for? And I'd be like, I'm grateful that I live in this hotel. And even though in my mind I'm like, but I don't want to. And like, you're focusing on what you're grateful for. First thing in the day sets you up for success. And then in the moments of stress, if you are like sitting at your computer and you're avoiding sending your invites, if you change what you're thinking to, like, I'm grateful that I have this opportunity to invite this person. I'm grateful that I lost 3 pounds in my last challenge group, so that when I can share that with someone. You know, I'm grateful for Shakeology. You know my Shakeology. Grateful for. I'm grateful I can go to the bathroom better, but that's not everybody's grateful. So whatever yours is. So if you start your day with gratitude, and then you start your day with visualization. So I printed the team goals that I shared, like when we did our vision call, like, I don't know, a month ago or 2 months ago. I made that visual. I changed some of the wording on it, and when I was living in a house, I had it on my bathroom mirror. And so every morning I woke up, and as I was brushing my teeth, I was getting in, before my workout, I was getting in the habit of saying and visualizing what I wanted. So you can say and visualize whatever you want. It's not something that's come true. So it's not like you have to pick something you're good at. Pick something you want to be good at. So as you're brushing your teeth in the morning, you can say your mantras, and you can visualize, I attract business building coaches to this business. I can invite easily. I am a 5-star diamond coach with a rockin' team. I am planning a trip to Bora Bora. You know, like whatever it is, speak into existence and visualize you doing it. And do that in the morning specifically, but then periodically too throughout the day. That has been the biggest thing that has helped me. And when I have watched, and I trust me, watch any top coach training that talks about mindset, that is what they do. Melanie Mitro did it a lot, and Bonnie Engel was really big on it. She said that she, was, for someone who was $400,000 in debt, she would say, I am debt free. And she wasn't debt free, but she was saying it. She was arming herself to go in her day with the strength and the courage that she needed. So it's easy to look at other people in this business and think, well, they had it easier. They came in at the right time. They had the right upline. They had the right everything. They had the right following beforehand. But if you really listen and you really dive into these coaches who are super successful in this business, most of them started with absolutely nothing, and their backs were against a wall, and they had to figure it out. So they had to have a growth mindset. So that is what I see. Success leaves clues, right? That is what I see we have to do, is we have to have a growth mindset. So when Lindsay Matway, who is like the top leader in this company, and has fabulous hair, she came into this business and had zero upline, had no idea what she was doing. She was working from, like she said, like this crappy laptop that like barely worked. And this is when the coaching opportunity, there was no back office. There was no, like, you go and you can find trainings, or you go and you do this. You can like lean on other people. She had to create everything that we see. And she was one that her house was foreclosure. They filed for bankruptcy the exact same month that she started coaching. And she decided that this is what is going to happen. I'm going to have to grow through this. Failure is not an option. And even though everything told her otherwise, she had divorce and drug addict parents. She had, $400,000, or I think she had $400,000. Bonnie Engel had $200,000. She had, her daughter was born at 32 weeks, and they had massive medical bills for it. And they foreclosed on a house. She told a story once that her first year coaching, they had to park their car down the street and only go get it at night because the repo people were looking for it. They were trying to take the car back, and they had to hide it until they could make the payments. So when you look at other people and you think, oh, well, it was easier for them, that's you giving yourself an easy out, because it wasn't easy for any of them. It wasn't easy for Brigitte Linford, who is our upline, when she was in a mental hospital. Like, she was put into a mental hospital because her depression was so debilitating. And so do you think someone who suffers from such extreme depression, such extreme limiting belief, it was easy for her to sit down at her computer and figure out how to invite all these massive people to get her bills paid, because they were literally shutting the power off, or they shut the heat off, not the power, and she was having her children take turns stand in the freezer so that they could cool down in the middle of the summer. I don't think it was easy for her, but she had a growth mindset, and she said, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to figure this out. So, and then outside of Beachbody, you look at, it's easy to hear these stories and be like, oh, that's so motivating. Isn't that so cute? But then when we apply it to our lives, we can't see the parable. So, Walt Disney was told no how many times? And now obviously he's passed away, but Disney is like the biggest franchise in the world. Colonel Sanders for Kentucky Fried Chicken he was 70 something walking around trying to get a business deal, and he kept going. I love Sylvester Stallone, how he literally lost his wife, sold everything he owned, and had to sell his dog to put food on the table, and then wrote Rocky in one day after he said, I think like 300 interviews or auditions, 300 auditions, he got the inspiration and wrote Rocky, and then he's tried to sell it, and they were like, oh yeah, we'll give you like $500,000 or something crazy for it. And he said, well, I want to star in it. And they were like, oh, you're too ugly. They literally told him, you're too ugly. And he had just sold his dog, and he eventually, the deal was he would sell the screen right to them for like $25,000. So the man literally had to sell his dog. He has no food. He was going to the library for warmth, to eat, and to find inspiration. And he then got it down because the company didn't want to take a risk with putting this kind of bad actor in there. They thought a bad actor. And so they sold it. He let them sell it for $25,000 that he could star in it. And now it's like the highest, most classic movie ever, Rocky. Like, anybody mentions Philly and they literally think Rocky drinking eggs. So it's easy to see these examples and think, wow, that is so inspiring. But me, I'm just a failure. I'm just a failure. People just don't want to be in my business. Like, do you realize how silly that is? Like, maybe, like, not, if you, like, acknowledge to me that you realize how silly that is. But we all do it. We all sit there and sit at our computer, and if we don't actively arm ourselves with the correct mindset, with visualizations, with mantras, with gratitude, then we think, I'm just a failure. Nobody wants to join my team. But no, her over there, it's easy for her. She's okay. Everybody starts in the same place. Everybody starts with like 200 followers. Nobody started with like this amazing platform of people who are like, oh my God, you're doing Beachbody? Like, here, take my money. Nobody. Nobody. So stop looking at other people and thinking that that's happening. Success Club 5 is the benchmark for the entire company for a reason. It takes time to build relationships, to be proof that the products work so people understand that they're investing in something right. It takes failure. It takes growth. And then you get there. But you cannot do it if you're just looking in your eyesight, if you have a negative mindset, or if you're allowing yourself to put the ropes on your feet. So it was a short call. It was not anything. It was just kind of like a pump it up. But I wanted to specifically do that because we had two of our absolute best months in May and June as a team. It's not about me. It's not about one person on the team. It's about everybody. All collectively, we helped the most people in May and June. And we are halfway through July. And I want us to do way more than that, because we all have goals and we have people who really need our help. So I hope that you're feeling pumped up, and I don't want to take more of your time, because I want you to take, if you allotted usually an hour for this call, I want you to take the last 25 minutes, and I want you to first, I would like if I can give you an assignment, I would like to have you message your personally sponsored coach some mantras, some things that you're saying. You know, we don't have to respond to them. I don't have to like tell you, oh, tweak this one. I want you to share a gratitude, share a mantra, or share a visualization. And then I want you to pull up your list of the people you've Hey Girl messaged, the people you've invited, the people you want to invite. I want you to pull up your list, and I want you to do some work for the next 25 minutes, because it's not easy for anybody, but it's doable, and everyone can do it if they arm themselves every single day with positivity and with belief, and cutting those dang ropes off your feet and running. So if we're a big bunch of elephants, which sounds like super negative, if we're a big bunch of elephants, we're getting revved up. We're not putting any ropes on our feet. We're going to do action. We're going to say, you know what, Brigitte Linford, I connect with you because I get paralyzing depression and I feel like I'm not going to be able to do anything. But if you can do it, I can do it. If you can be in the Millionaires Club, I can do it. She said she got kicked out of college twice because of bad grades. And the only job she really said she was like, I was semi-successful at Denny's. But that was just because like I worked really slow shifts. Like the manager would only put her on shifts where it was like there wasn't a lot going on. If she can figure it out and grow through it, so can each of us. So I want you to review your mindset, your visualization mantra or gratitude, message your upline coach, so your personally sponsored, even if they weren't on this coach, just be like, they weren't on the call, just be like, hey, blah. Like, it's the assignment from the call. And then get to work for at least the amount of time that this call normally is. If you want to do more, especially if you're West Coast time, I want you to just flow into your work night. And I want you to send some messages, and I want you to arm yourselves, because action brings, what did I say the other day? I think it was Erica. Action brings confidence. Action brings confidence. So the longer you sit and idle, and you're sitting there and you're like, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to do? The less confident you get, because you're never doing it. But the more action you do, the more confidence you get, because you're like, I can do it. I can do this. I can do it. I sent a Hey Girl message and it was really good. And then you send another one. And then before you know it, you're sending like Hey Girl messages like this. But everybody struggles with them at first. Everybody struggles with inviting at first. So you just have to rip the Band-Aid off and do it. So I look forward to seeing all of your assignments. Well, the people who are going to message me. And I look forward to July being our best month yet. I want medals around all of your neck. I want you guys like taking pics with them. And because for you, I want you to believe in yourselves that you can do it. And this medal, you get a medal for just 1 point over your best. So if you've never had any Success Club points and you get a Success Club point, you get a medal. And you should wear that medal proudly, because you were better than you were last month. And that's all we can ask in this business, is to be a little bit better, and have a growth mindset. So I love you all. You are, oh, we need a team call pick. Duh. Someone has to send it to me, because my phone died. Hold on. Well, actually, I don't know who's you guys are all taking it. So I'll do a 1, 2, 3. So do like are we boomeranging, or are we picking? Who wants just a picture? Okay, I saw Sierra say just a picture. So we're doing just a picture. So get your face up there. Oh, here it is. Okay. And someone sent it to me. Oh, and Pay's in it. Hey, Pay. I only had me on there for a while, because it makes me nervous to look at people's faces. So if I just look at myself. So look at Pay. Oh, hey, Pay. She's like, all right. Is she not? Are we not happy?
She shit in the tub, and I had to move her. Like, seriously,
I'm not laughing.
Punch me in the face, mom life status.
The other day, so we don't have a tub. I'll stop recording. We